welcome. In this video, I am going to explain how to sort a collection of user-defined objects, say a collection of student objects. First, we create a student class with some fields. We create a constructor, full parameterized constructor, and override toString function, so that whenever we print a student object, its string representation is printed. For the time being, ignore the comments. So one more time, I am showing you the student class. Now let's go to the main function. Here I have created some student objects. I have put them in an array list. What does this angle brackets indicate? Can you recollect? Yes, generics. We want to make sure that only student objects are added to the array list. Yeah. So we have added all the student objects and we are printing the student objects. Let's see what would be the output at this moment. Yeah, so the output is displayed in the same order that we have added the objects into the collection. Now we want to sort them. Now to sort a collection of objects stored in an array list, we have a function called as sort in the collections class. But see, when we say collection.sort of array list object, it is giving an error. Now think for a moment why it is giving an error. Had we passed an array list of string objects, it would have given the output. But here we are passing a collection of array list objects which contains user-defined objects, not primitive objects like strings. So yeah, the reason for the error is, when we sort a collection of user-defined objects, how can it know on which field basis the sorting should happen? Whether sorting should happen based on ID numbers or names or courses or fees. That's what we have to convey to the compiler. So how do we accomplish it? For that, we have to implement an interface known as comparable. So it's a predefined interface available in java.lang package. After implementing comparable interface, you know that we have to override its abstract methods. It has got one abstract method, compared to. So this is the method of comparable interface. Now see, the error has vanished. Now this compare to function is invoked automatically by the compiler. It is invoked with one student object and another student object is passed to it. Like that, several times this function gets invoked. So if you can notice that its parameter is of object type, so that we can use it for students, employees, customers, anything. So according to our requirement, we have to convert this object into student type. Okay, you know that object class is the base class of any class. So converting base class type into subclass type is known as what? Downcasting. Okay, so we have downcasted the object into student object. So then just do the comparison. So here I want to compare based on courses of the students. So you know that course is a field of string type. So this dot course means the object which has invoked this compare to function, and s dot course, the object which is passed to the function. If you can recollect, compare to function belongs to a string class. It compares to string objects and returns an integer. It could be 0 if both are same, positive value if the second string occurs first in alphabetical order, a native number with the first string occurs first in alphabetical order. Accordingly, the Java compiler positions the string, whether to swap it or to keep as it is. Okay, right. Now let's check whether that error has vanished or not. So now see, the error has vanished. Now let's run the program. What you should expect? The student objects are sorted based on course. These courses. I run the program. Now notice, this is not the order that we have added in the collection. So sorted. Now there is one more point. While implementing the comparable interface, if you use its generic version, the advantage is this function gets generated. Now see, in the parameter we got the student object directly. So the advantage is we can reduce it by one line. Rest all is same. Run the program one more time. So look at the output, same output. In this way, we can choose any field of our choice. Now there is a continuation to this concept. In this example, imagine that the student class is created by programmer 1 and it is being used by programmer 2. So programmer 1 has decided on which field basis comparison should happen. He hasn't given any choice. And programmer 2 doesn't even know until he sees the output on what field basis sorting is going to happen. Now in the next example, I am going to explain how to give choice to programmer 2 and how programmer 2 can use that choice. Yeah. Now, so most of it remains the same. Let's focus on the new things. So here I'm implementing the comparable interface using the generic version. Some fields I have taken, constructor, toString they have overridden. Compared to function also, In this case, I am comparing based on names. It can be anything. Okay. In the previous example, we have compared based on courses. In this example, I am comparing based on their names. And this would be the default one for the programmer 2. So when the programmer 2 says collection.sort of earliest object, then comparison happens based on students' names. Now see what else I have added. I have added some segregator methods. You know how to generate segregator methods in NetBeans IDE. I hope you have already seen that video. So once segregator methods are added, I will let you know why are we adding segregator methods in this example. Then I have created some more classes. So this is for names descending. So the default one is for names ascending sort. This one. Now you want to have one more choice. Names should be sorted descending order. See what I have done? We have to implement another interface known as comparator. It's not comparable, it's comparator. And we have to import it explicitly. It belongs to the util package. Along with the generic version. This interface has a function known as compare. It's not compare to. For a comparable interface, it is compare to, and it takes only one parameter. But for comparator interface, the function name is not compare to, it's compare, and it takes two parameters. The concept remains the same. Now see, in the previous example, you could access the fields directly because it is the same class. But now we are accessing those fields in a different class. So that's why we are using getter methods. You know that private data can be used only by the same class members. As it is a different class, we have to go through getter methods to access the private data. That's the reason why I have added getter methods. So in this example, setter methods are not required. Just like that, I have added them. Similarly, so how many choices you want to offer to the programmer to those many classes you have to create. So this is for names descending, and this is another class, ID numbers ascending. Okay, so if they are integers, just subtract them. Okay, we get either 0, a post number, or a negative number. So we have provided two more choices. And the main function, as in the previous example, we have some student objects, added the student objects in the array list. Now see, when I say sort, the default sort would happen. Which one? This one, compare to function. Okay, but when the programmer too wants to use these choices, then how does it do that? Now look here, sort. We pass the array list as usual. Then here we have to create an instance and pass it to the sort function. So this class must have implemented comparator interface. That's the point here. So this is how programmer 2 can use the choice. So this is one more instance. So this is the default sort. Names in descending order, ID numbers in ascending order. So we get three sets of output. Let's check it. So this is for the default sort. Names in ascending order. Names in descending order got reversed. ID numbers in ascending order. Please give it a try. Hope this video is helpful to you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.